Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Brian and today we're going to be swapping the oil pan on this 2JZ. So this particular 2JZ came out of a Lexus GS 300 and it has a front sump oil pan. This is going in my 78 Datsun 280Z and I need a rear sump pan for that. So we're going to swap this front sump to a pan that has a sump at the rear. First thing we're going to do is take off the lower oil pan, which is just a bunch of 10mm bolts. Now, from the factory, these are, as far as I know, Toyota doesn't use gaskets. They use gasket maker like RTV. So that's how this one is sealed right now. This particular engine, obviously picked up used from another guy, and he rebuilt it. Just did a stock rebuild, just a refresh, put fresh bearings in it and everything. So, and it hasn't been run yet since he rebuilt it. So this has fresh gasket material on it right now, never even been run. So it might be a little hard to come off, but we'll see. If you take your time, you won't bend the pan, because this is just a steel pan, so this lip will bend pretty easily. Now we'll take off the oil pickup tube. It's just one 10mm bolt and two 10mm nuts. Be careful not to drop them down inside the engine because you'll be fishing them out. It's probably not real easy. And there's a gasket right here between the upper oil pan and your pickup tube. Next, we'll take off the oil pan baffle or the windage tray, whatever you want to call it. It's again just some 10mm bolts. Next, we'll take off this oil level sensor right here. You don't necessarily have to take it off, take the oil pan off, but I don't want to break it off. And when I take the pan off, and actually set it down on it, because I plan on selling this stuff to recoup a little bit of my costs. So that is, once again, just some 10mm bolts on the outside of the pan. Alright, only thing we got left is to take the upper oil pan off, and surprisingly, these are not 10mm bolts, they are 12s. So you just got a bunch around the perimeter. You got some inside where the oil pan wings go out over the wider than the width of the motor, just up front all around, so pop those off. And actually, I just noticed they're not all 12mm. The ones 6 here at the rear are 14s. And once again, this upper oil pan is sealed to the block with RTV, so we just gotta work it around and tap it and it'll come off eventually. There is a couple little places around, like right here, where you can start your screwdriver in to start working it around. up front here, mine is really stuck on, so right up front, where this tab comes off the front of the block, you can get a chisel in there, tap it in, and it'll break that seal a little bit. You don't want to go crazy because it is cast aluminum, so you can break that. If you're nice and gentle with it, just work your pry bar around, a screwdriver in a couple places, you will get it up without ruining anything. Alright, next thing you're going to want to do is clean up your mating surface here. I got a plastic razor, I'm just going to scrape off everything that I can. That RTV should come off pretty easily. And one thing that's a good idea, as you can see, I stuffed a bunch of rags down in here. That way lessens your chance of some of that RTV or anything else falling down in the block. You would rather not have that happen. And you don't have to use a plastic razor blade. You can use a regular one since this is a cast iron block. But I'm gonna, just to play it safe, use the plastic blade first and then go from there. And right here, on this side of the block, there's the oil pump pickup tube O-ring. So that seals between the block and the upper oil pan, and then the passage goes up this side of the block to your oil pump. And you really need to make sure that that is sealed. So you definitely want to replace this O-ring. And back here at your rear main seal, you definitely want to be careful because that is aluminum, much easier to gouge. So be careful if you're using a regular razor blade. Alright, I got most of the big chunks off, so just little stuff that's stuck on the block now. Instead of sitting here all day using my plastic razor, I'm going to go over to my die grinder with a cleanup pad on it. If you do happen to use one of these, just make sure you blow away from the block, just to keep all the dust out that you can. But you don't have to use this. You can easily scrape the rest of this up, but you want to get it as clean as you can. Alright, now you need to clean your mating surface, get all the oil and everything off it so your RTV can seal. So what you want to do is take your brake clean and spray it on a rag and then just wipe it off. It's best not to spray it directly onto the engine because if you got any dirt or debris or anything on there, you could spray it down in. So we try to prevent that as much as we can. Alright, if your oil pan you're putting on is not ready to go, clean that up now. Same process. Just make sure your mating surface is all nice and clean and dry and ready for your RTV. So I'm using some of this Permatex Ultra Gray. It's very good stuff. So we're going to just put a bead around the whole surface all the way around, around both sides of the bolt holes. And you don't need to go on the inside of your oil pump pickup tube O-ring here because that O-ring is going to seal there and you don't have much of a mating surface to put some on. But just go all the way around all of your mating surfaces. Make sure you get good right here and right here on both sides where the block and the oil pump and the block and your rear main seal housing seal together. And you don't need to use a ton of this. You know, if you put too much on, it's going to all squeeze out, and one, it's going to look terrible on the outside, but on the inside, if that squeezes in there, it is possible for that to clog oil galleys, and then you could have a engine failure at that point. We don't want that. Then after your first trip around, go back and go all the way around all of your bolt holes. Something that I like to do that some other people don't, I'm sure I'll get people that disagree with me with this, I like to spread this smooth with my finger, just to make sure I got it on everywhere, because sometimes it doesn't like to stick. So if you, and this will get rid of any high spots or low spots before you start squishing it down. Now do not forget to put your pickup tube O-ring in the block, because if you forget that, you're going to have issues. Now we're just going to set this down on as smooth as we can. And you got 2 dowel pins back here to help line it up. But you don't want to smush it around a bunch and mess up your RTV you just spent time putting on good. Perfect. Alright, now get all your bolts started that you didn't forget to clean up beforehand like somebody might have. Now what you want to do is just snug these down hand tight until the RTV starts squishing out the sides, and then we're going to let it sit for a while. Alright, now we're going to let this sit for 20-30 minutes and to let that RTV just kind of start to set up. Okay, let that RTV set up. So now we're going to torque down all our bolts. The 12mm bolts are 15 foot-pounds, and the 14mm head bolts are 29 foot-pounds. And we're going to start in the center and work our way out in a circle. Alright, did one pass. Now you're going to want to go and do that again, because as you tighten down some of these outer bolts, it's going to take less pressure, or it's going to take pressure off of the inner bolts you torque down first, so those loosened up a bit. So we'll run around in a circle again on everything and just make sure everything's still snug down. And don't forget to change your torque specs. Mine actually didn't loosen up a bit, but I still like to double check anyway. And I always, even when I'm doing a circle pattern like this, I always then still go back and go in a line just to double check everything, because it's easy to skip a row or something like that when you're jumping all over the place. This way you ensure you did not forget any bolt. Alright, so next thing you're going to want to do is put your oil level sensor in. I'm not going to be running that, so I picked up this block-off plate from Drift Motion. But Owen came out to help, so he's going to jump in and start doing this stuff with us.
Hello.
So you can't really see from that side, but the hole's right here for the oil level sensor, so we're just going to stick the plate on and bolt it down. Next thing we're going to do is stick our oil baffle on, or windage tray. We'll just set it on here like that. And then our oil pump pickup tube is going to go on, but we can't forget the gasket.
Oh, oh my god.
So there is a torque spec for these bolts, 6.5 foot-pounds, but I'm just going to snug them down. That's it.
Okay, now you gotta put the actual pan on.
Alright, so now we got to put our silicone around this surface again, just like we did with the upper oil pan. Same technique, don't put too much because it's just going to squeeze out. Now we're going to set our nice clean upper oil pan down on. Alright, just like before, we're going to snug these bolts down and then let the RTV set up. You want to do some of this, bud?
Okay.
So all you're going to do is, you're going to work your way around, and all you're going to do is tighten it down until the bolt starts down, and it starts, you know, the silicone just starts squeezing out like that, okay? Whoops, I missed a bolt.
Oh, I missed one? Oh no.
Actually, let me see that real quick, because there was one that didn't want to start. Let me make sure it's going to be okay. Grab, show you. Yeah, hold right here, so you got it stable, and then just and you're going the wrong way for one thing.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way.
Just go like that, usually, because you're not putting much force behind it. So just do your hand right at the top,
Okay.
and then just get till it. Hold on, just get till it squishes out. Like that's good.
Okay.
Just until you feel some force on the bolt.
Now we're gonna let the RTV set up for 20 minutes or so like we did with the upper oil pan.
So now that we've let that silicone sit up, we just need to torque down our bolts, and the torque spec is 15 foot-pounds. And we just want to work our way in a circle like we did before. So I'll start here, man. So we just go, that one's tight.
That one.
And we're going to go this one.
You have to do them in a specific order?
Yep, so we're going in, like, kind of inside to outside.
Oh, so like
I'll show you.
this one, that one, this one,
So
that one,
now-
and this one will be
now
next?
You come over here, yes. Do this one, and then you're going to do this one way over here. So
Okay.
you're going to do this one. And you want to put it this way. Hold it here, and you're going to make sure you're holding there. You got to stabilize it. Go to left click. Easy. Go to left clicks. Look, get easy.
Oh,
You
that's
fast.
good.
Yeah, over here. That is the end of it. That's how you swap an oil pan on a 2JZ.